Welcome to a short and maybe messy bonus episode of
Where I can tap my knee. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Kevin, and we made it to the finale. Oh my goodness.
We did it.
We did it.
Oh my God.
So let's get into episode 12, not 2, episode 12 of My Stand-In.
The finale of My Stand-In.
Yes. So remember, My Stand-In is available to stream on iQiyi. No longer on Fridays because it just ended. So now you can binge it whenever you want. Again, if you have not watched a single episode of the show, many spoilers.
Watch it.
So you need to go watch it.
So spoiler filled.
So spoiler filled because we're going to do the whole show. Well, we're going to do this last episode and then we're going to give our final take on the series.
And we'll give our thoughts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, first of all, let's go ahead and start where we left off. Where the episode left off with episode 11 was Joe heads into the light, or he opens the door.
We think he's in this limbo world. He just got shot. He's in the recovery room at the hospital. The shaman spiritual advisor is like, you can make a decision now to restart the cycle or kind of choose your own path.
And then he's walking towards that door, and to go through that light. And he has all these thoughts going through his head. And we're thinking he's about to go through that door. Because the thoughts that he had...
thinking, he's like, I'm tired. Like, he's thinking of, like, P. Wood being like, you shouldn't do this again. You shouldn't get up in that mess again. He's thinking of Tong being like, you're always going to be a stand-in. But then he's thinking of Ming being like, I love you. Oh, my God, I missed you. Blah, blah, blah. I always love you. And all the happy moments they've had, which are,
yeah.
which
and
are
then,
here and there.
So we're thinking, okay, he's going to go through that door. And then, psych! He doesn't.
Psych, eyes open in bed. He's like, hey.
Yeah. And I think it's because, he felt Ming grab him from behind, like grabbed his spirit, and was like, please don't leave me again.
Grabbed his spirit. Yeah, he's like, there's someone waiting for me. And that's all I want in life is someone waiting for me that wants me, that's waiting for me to come back. So I choose Ming again.
And one thing I love about him making that choice was he doesn't have to substitute for Sub again. So it looks like this is it. He's not going to have to go through... They made it seem as if he was going to go through the cycle again, but it looks like he's not going to.
Through. Yeah, I mean, I low-key wanted him to go through that door and, like, pop up again in a new body, and, like, that will be the final thing.
Right. I wanted a little bit more mess.
Yeah, I wanted a little bit more mess. One more little spiritual, supernatural thing.
Right.
But, that would be crazy if we have another actor. We'd have Poom and Winner. It'll be like Poom, Winner, and, like, we have to find another actor that looks like Tong from the back. That'd be
and
funny,
then, Ming... Okay, so I guess Ming goes to, we cut to another scene where Ming remembers the call that he got when Joe fell off the cliff and disappeared. And I'm glad we finally get a little insight to, we did, because remember, Ming did tell us a couple episodes back what happened and how he was in a really bad place for a while. But
we didn't get to see how broken he was.
Right. We didn't get to see it. So we got to see how he was in shock, like literally expecting him to come home. And then we realized that he was having a dream. And then he wakes up, kind of head down on Joe's hospital bed as Joe is asleep. And they start doing cute stuff. He's like,
not them feeding each other,
blah blah blah. Yeah. And then of course their little moment gets interrupted by some,
as it should be. Secretary Jim and Son.
Yes, all coming in and catching them, being all cute and disgusting.
I
And
guess because they were missing for a while, they didn't get to see Joe fully. You know, they didn't get to see that they got together again.
right,
You
they didn't
know,
get to
they've
see
been missing
that.
for a couple episodes. Yeah,
Right, right.
especially Sun. So
Mm-hmm.
Sun like talks to Ming in the hallway, and he's like, "Oh, why are you not in the room?"
Right.
And Ming's like, I just, I will give y'all space.
Mm-hmm. They have a little heart to heart.
Yeah, I'm glad they have a heart to heart, and we do find out that Sun is like, "Oh, me and Joe were supposed to be like coupled up together, so we were getting close together,
Mm-hmm.
but I found out that Joe is gay, and that like freaked me out a bit. So when there was an opportunity to go to Korea, I took the opportunity to create some distance. But then
Mm-hmm.
I ended up being the one that was, missing him,
Mm-hmm.
and so I came back to try to get with him, and it was too late because you already got to him first."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, oh wow.
Yeah, that's what he. But you know what? I think there's a lesson to learn from that I want to get into a little later. But I love
Mm-hmm.
that they were able to have an honest conversation. Ming actually was kind of apologetic, even though this was one of those times that I
Yeah.
don't think Ming needed to apologize because
I mean, yeah, you
really,
can't apologize for being like, sorry, I got to him before you.
yeah, it's like
Like,
it was
sorry.
Sun was the one who missed out. He
Yeah.
missed the opportunity because he got scared.
Mm-hmm.
And that's on him. And not a fault of Ming. It's like Ming came around and you weren't. Like simple as that. I also love that, we had Mama Joe and Mama Ming had a little heart to heart.
Oh, I wanted, I wanted more mess. I wanted the mom to be like, "How dare you send that letter to my house?"
Right. Well, Mama Joe is a little too nice.
I
She's
know
a
she's
really
way too
kind
nice. She was
woman.
like, "I'm so sorry. You had to pay for my house and everything. Sorry, I
Hmm.
had to deal with this, Joe. It's so messy."
Right.
Um,
And I love how they were able to have an honest conversation about being mothers and
Mothers to
loving.
their gay children,
Right.
accepting
And
their gay
it's,
children. Yeah.
yeah. And it really is about, loving them as they are, not like
Mm-hmm.
trying to have them be what you think they should be.
Mm-hmm.
And, I love that they were able to have that space to be vulnerable with each other and really learn from each other. And you could tell there was a respect was kind of set up between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a friendship,
Yeah.
I'm hoping a
Yeah, I
friendship.
hope so. Cause yeah, Mama Joe was like, I almost lost my son the first
Mm-hmm.
time because I didn't accept that he was gay, and
Mm-hmm.
so I promised myself that after that, I'll accept him, and we'll have honest conversation, and we'll treat anything like it's normal. So I
Right.
was like, oh,
Yeah. Aww.
oh. And then they go upstairs and they interrupt another cute little moment of Ming feeding Joe. I was
Right.
like,
And I was
yes.
hoping low key, I'm sitting here wondering when is Mama Joe gonna find out this ain't the same Joe? I don't think
I
she's
was
ever gonna find
wondering.
out. I
I
think
really throughout this whole episode, I was really like, is anyone gonna like explain the whole mysticism behind like, because they keep being like, Ming had a hard time with the previous Joe, so we're all scared of repeating that. And I
mm-hmm.
want them to be like, actually, this is low key the same Joe,
Yeah, he's getting a
different
second
body, but
chance. Yeah.
it's the same Joe. We can all ask my spiritual advisor. I can call him on the phone. He can let y'all know
Mm-hmm.
if you all believe in that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Um
so what
I
happens next?
I also love how I guess the best scene I think in this episode, not in the whole
Mm-hmm.
show, in this episode, because I still think the end of season 7 was the best scene. Of episode 7 was the best scene.
Mm.
But in this
Is it when they're
episode,
watching the shooting stars?
yes, on the
It was
rooftop,
very pretty.
it was very cute, and I love how Ming. This is Ming's second time apologizing for being an asshole. You
But this is
know,
like I was like, yes, he's finally like fully. I'm sorry for all the things I've did. Like, can you forgive me?
yeah,
I'm
and
so
I
sorry.
feel as if because I think this is where you and I differ. I felt the first time he apologized, what 2 or 3 episodes back, he
Well, that
was.
was when, yeah,
I think I felt he was sincere then.
he was
And I
sincere, but he didn't know that this was the same Joe. Like, remember the first time he ever apologized
Well,
was
episode
when he
7, he did,
saw.
but he didn't know. And he apologized then. And that's the scene that I think was the best one of the whole series, where
When
he
he's
pretty
running
much
mid scene,
on the
interrupting
set
the.
interrupted the set.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Like, he
Um,
was apologizing to Joe, but like didn't, he doesn't know that this Joe in front of him is the same Joe. He's just apologizing to Joe out into the world. Like, I'm sorry,
mhm.
Joe, for what I did.
Yeah.
But
And I just really love that moment because I
that
feel
was a
as
beautiful
if
moment.
the first half of this series, we did not really think Ming was going to be redeemable at all because he was just such a trash
I
person.
they layered it down. They
He was
like
just so
everything.
miserable as a person and unsufferable. But you could tell that I think the breakdown was, and
Mm-hmm.
we might be jumping a little ahead here because we try to stay chronological, but I feel as if I know where the breakdown was, which we got to see. But
Mm-hmm.
before we get to that, the next day, Joe is discharged from the hospital. Weird, Ming is not picking him up, and I was like, this is very sus.
I was like, I knew it was the dad being like,
Yeah, you know
"Come
who
to
I
my
thought it
house."
was before the dad?
You thought it
I
was
was
the guys again
Yeah,
that
I was
kidnapped
like,
him?
not again. I was like, you want to shoot him again? Like,
They
that
said,
was what
"Oh,
was.
so you lived, you
Yeah, I was
alive."
like, wait a minute. Like, you don't want the police to come
It could
again?
be.
And
It
then
could be.
when Jim came out of the van, I was like, oh, it must be the dad. Like, it
Yeah, it
has to
must be the
be.
dad.
Now, what did you think about the dad?
I was like, yes, homophobe dad better, he said, I'm here to stir the tea. I'm here to
Yes.
create mess.
So I
He,
was ready for it, and my
I was
eyes
ready for
rolled
it.
extra hard. Like I
Oh,
thought they were
I
gonna
thought he was just
roll
gonna
out
keep
of
the
the
same
sockets of my
spiel.
eyes down like the floor into the bathroom or something. Like that's what I thought.
But
Like
were you gagged when he whipped out that Glock? I was like,
yes, I
oh. I was
screamed.
like, yo,
I was
I
like,
just
why
survived a
is he pulling
gunshot.
out a gun?
Please.
I was like, he went from classy to hood, like real quick. And I'm
He
like, wait
said,
a minute.
listen, you don't want
Excuse
to take
me?
money? I'm gonna
Yeah,
make you disappear. I could make you disappear again anytime. You still
yeah.
want Ming? You still want Ming?
Yeah, I was like, why?
And
Why
Joe's
is he
like,
threatening him with a gun? And I was like, dude had already been shot. You want to shoot him again? Like, come
literally,
on. Joe has suffered enough throughout this whole
Joe has
show.
suffered
People need
enough.
to give him a break, okay? Give
I
him a break.
know. But at
Um,
least Joe was like, hey, like, I. I mean, if I was Joe, I'd be like, I died. I've already died once. I've almost died the second time.
mhm.
Like, go ahead. Like, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Shoot
He
me.
was ready because he's already been. You're right. He's already been dead.
He's
But
like, shoot me. Go ahead.
I think what shocked me the most was the reason why the dad didn't like him. We
Yeah,
thought
the
it
dad
was
actually cared. Yeah.
homophobia.
Yeah.
And it was he actually really loves his son, and and this is where we see how broken Ming was. Like Ming was
Mm-hmm.
in that house drunk and
He
would
was
not leave.
catatonic, girl.
He was catatonic, probably unshowered, unbathed, bo
Ugh.
stankin'. Like he was
Stanking
a
up that house.
mess. And I think he didn't want to see his son like that again. Like I
Yeah.
think it had, and I'm glad he said it had nothing to do with him being poor, had nothing to do with him being a man, had everything to do with I don't want my son to be broken like that again, and that's
Mm-hmm.
really made me change
And
my
that's
opinion about the
fatherhood.
dad.
That's
Yeah,
fatherhood right there.
and I was like that. I understand. At first, I
Yeah.
thought he was just being a straight up homophobe. But I'm glad we were able to see that. Oh, okay. He really just didn't want his son in that. And
I feel like if Joe didn't come back with the same name,
mhm.
things would be tense, but it wouldn't be as tense. So like, oh my God, it's Joe, another Joe. Like you're gonna go have another breakdown because of another Joe. Like we can't have this.
Mm-hmm.
Like if his name was Poom or something. If his name was anything else, I feel like maybe they'd be like, all right, it's just another guy. But
Yeah.
like another Joe, like it's just reminding them over and over again how destroyed Ming was the first
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
sucks that they didn't get to. I mean, it's hard. It's a hard thing to swallow to be like, this is the same Joe. Like I doubt
Yes.
they'd believe him. They think
Yeah.
he's crazy, and this
Right.
guy's fooling him again. Yeah.
Right. And
But
I another thing that I really also appreciated, other than seeing that, and this is what I wanted to kind of get back to, was I think Ming being that broken was where he realized he was a piece of shit. And I
I
think the
hope so.
growth started before Joe came back. I think that's where he had an awakening, because no one would be that messed up for almost a year. Because remember, he said his first year he was messed up, and no one would be that bad unless they truly loved um
Of
someone,
course.
and he did, and I think that's when he realized, like, I really fucked up, and if I did better, maybe none of this would have happened. And remember, on the rooftop, Joe said, don't you have to stop blaming yourself, because at the end of the day, I made the choice to go to
True.
that shady, illegal, you know,
Mm-hmm.
thing to be a stunt double.
Yeah, that illegal set to do
That
that.
illegal
To
set.
do that
Yeah.
set. Yeah.
Yeah. So in a way, it's like, in my head, I'm like, well, you wouldn't have gone there if, Tong and Ming didn't, take away your opportunities,
I mean, yeah, if you
and
didn't
and
chain me to
and
your
blacklist
amazing.
him and all of that.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't
Like,
have
y'all
done
definitely
that.
had a heavy hand in it, but at the end of the day, I'm the one that drove off that cliff.
Right. He's the one who made that choice, and Ming realized that, he really fucked up.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, there was an opportunity for growth. And he took that opportunity to grow. And I think he is going to treat Ming is going to treat um Joe the way he should be
Joe.
treated.
As
Yeah.
he should. As
As
he
he
should.
should. As he should.
Yeah, they all have a lovely little dinner together. And the
I
dad
really
is
did not
like,
want Tong
remember
at
that
that dinner.
promise. Oh, I was the whole dinner, I was screaming. I was like, Tom, why are you here? I was like,
Right.
who invited you? And they're all like, yeah, we paid all your debt, Tong. Like, don't worry, better take care of May. And he's like, yeah, I'll take care of May, yes. And May's happy too. And I'm here like, I'm like,
Tong
the
is what
last thing we
created
saw
the
was
whole
divorce
mess.
papers.
Tong is the source of the whole mess.
Literally, I was like, does no one know that he's literally the cause of everything? Like, the
Right.
mastermind behind everything. The
Right.
reason Joe died the reason he lost his job, the whole career the first
Mm-hmm.
time.
And then got
Like,
himself into mega debt, and then ended up getting the family involved with thugs and all of that. So I'm kind of like,
I'm like, why
I
is he's forgiven so easily?
he's
But
given
Joe
a
has
lot
to
of
run through
grace.
hoops.
Right.
So much
And
grace.
Joe ain't
Even
even do
May.
shit to anybody. That's the thing that was
Literally.
really crazy to
Joe does
me.
not deserve this. I swear, he was a murderer in his past life or something. Like, the karma. The
Right.
karma.
Mm-mm. And you know what? May was a bit too nice, but
Way
part of
too
me,
nice. She forgives him. She's like, I know you gave me those papers because you wanted, you don't want me to get caught up in all the debt stuff and get
and I
sued.
believe that is true. I believe
And
that
I
is
do
exactly
believe
what
that, but I'm
Tong
still
did.
like, Tong, you're still a terrible person,
Right.
and Joe forgave you, but I don't. Still, I feel like
I don't
you need
either.
to.
Like, I need a little
Like,
bit
you putting my
more
name back
proof.
on the movie is not enough. You need to go
Right.
repent for all.
Yes.
Like, you were a terrible
You
person
need to.
to
He needs
everyone
to
else
go
on set
to the
too.
temple, and he needs to be a monk for at least a good 6 months.
You better quit
Okay.
your job. You better
Right. He needs to go
focus
ahead
on
and
your
go on a deep
wife.
fast. Okay.
Oh my god.
That's what he needs to do.
You need to
Um,
cleanse,
and
girl.
I still don't like him, even though, May forgave him. I'm like, okay, girl, you know what? If
I
that's
was like,
what you
that's
want,
your man.
because she don't want to be a single mama.
Of course, that's how baby daddy.
Right. So I'm just like, okay, you know what, girl? You do you. You do what you need to
I
do.
was like, you know what? He's on his own redemption story off screen. Go off.
Mm-hmm.
But I needed him to be punished some more.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least some like leaked headlines. Something.
Right.
Something that'll ruin his career that doesn't have to do with the family.
Right. But, oh well. And Ming,
Oh
I guess,
well.
forgave him, and he's lucky, because we already know Ming know how to. Ming
Oh,
has
Ming
shown
was
it time
like,
and
oh,
time
I've
again.
changed. I'm not that little boy no more.
Right. Right.
Oh, well, actually, Tom was like, I'm the one that changed. I turned into like this asshole. And I'm like, yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
you did.
Or maybe you were there the whole time, but yeah.
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 Either way, I'm glad you realized that at some point in your life you were an asshole.
At some point, after we've done so much for you. But yeah.
Right. Mm-mm-mm.
Um,
Maybe because he realized he could have almost died if, Joe didn't take his place.
I guess. I
Maybe that was it.
guess.
Like he was literally a step
He
away
has to
from
have his
death.
life flash before his eyes. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Well, Joe's
Um,
had it 20 times during the show, but
Let me see if you agree with this. Do you think Sun is probably the most matured person on this show?
matured. Um, he did have like a moment of jealousy now, didn't he? During the like press conference before for his music video,
He
he was
did.
kind of
He had a
he
little
was
bit of
kind of losing his
jealousy.
composure. But
Right.
I guess yeah, I would say Sun close to Joe are the most like mature people on this show, or at
Yeah.
least try to be level headed. I mean, Joe
Right.
sometimes is just thinking with that heart, thinking with something
Some
else. But
yeah, sometimes Joe thinking with his heart, sometimes he's thinking with
he's thinking
his pink
his little
star.
Joe,
His pink
not his
star.
pink star, not his pink star,
Sometimes he's
his little
thinking with
starfish.
yeah, he's thinking with that sometimes.
I
But
can't, but yeah, because Son is like, all right, I'm going to Korea. Like, I'm going back to Korea. I gotta say my goodbyes. Like,
mhm.
I'm closing this chapter. I'm moving on, and I'm like, yes, maturity, moving
Yeah.
on.
And I think he realized, and we saw the maturity when he spoke with Ming because he realized that Sun was like, I messed up. I'm the one who got scared.
Yeah, I
And if,
can't blame you for stealing Joe from me when I never had
because,
Joe. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I love that he was able to see that because I think Ming, maybe back then, earlier Ming, would have not had the same kind of response. Ming would have
Oh, for
found a
sure.
way to get Sun out of the industry, would have cut, he would have schemed and, devised and schemed the way, get Sun out of there in some kind of way. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, then, like, Sun gets picked up in a fan's car, and then I realized that's not a fan. That's, Yim, the makeup artist.
Yes, I was surprised. I was like, "Oh, are we getting like this is probably in the book? Like, there's so many little couples in the book. Like, we
Right.
have, um, Jim and Mike.
Which
I
that
was like,
one really kind
ooh.
of threw me for a curveball.
I was
Where the
like,
hell
I
this
want to
come
see a little
from?
special episode of that.
I do.
Come on, little
I do.
assistant and
Hmm. We
a
saw that,
billionaire.
and I almost yelled when what's his name was sneezing when Jim started
S-
sneezing because I can't see a
Stop!
sneeze.
Stop! No, that's at the end. You're spoiling the end.
I
Oh wait, are
can't
we at the end
hear it.
already?
No, I'm talking about Jim sneezing.
Oh, Jim was sneezing.
Yes,
He did?
in Mike's office.
Oh, I didn't hear a sneeze. I was too busy
He
staring at those
did. That was
hands.
the first thing he did. And that's when Mike was
He
like,
said,
Are you
achoo.
okay? Like, you're turning all red. Let me take care
Oh?
of you. And I was like, Excuse me, what is going on up in here? And I was like, Are we going to see a little nipple somewhere? And no, we didn't get any of that.
Not nipple, girl.
um, And then we get back to Joe slash Ming's loft or whatever we want to call it. And Ming's mom makes that motherly surprise visit that we all love and hate at the same time. Just
I was
showing
like,
up.
Loki, did we need this scene?
We didn't. Like, and they're
I
eating
was like, why
hot
is she here?
pot.
This is like an extended scene where
It
they're
was
having a
really
cute little
long.
dinner with Hot Pot and they're together. But I was like, I don't think we needed this mother here.
Yeah.
Maybe Joe's mother?
Maybe. I would
Because
have
has
loved to see
Joe's
more of
mother been
her.
here? She hasn't been to this house either.
I don't think she
So maybe
has.
if both the mothers were here, I think that would be cute. But it was just her.
Yeah. And then
And I
I
was
love
like,
and
what
she
is
was
she
going
adding?
in like, are you sure? Like, this thing's below your standards. I'm just
She
like,
said, ooh, the white
girl.
refrigerator, honey.
And
Let's
I'm
get
like,
you a
girl,
home.
they love the house. Just, girl, just let it go.
I was like,
Let it
this is a
go.
beautiful house. Like, I would love
Right.
to live here.
Yeah, it's really
Beautiful loft.
nice. I was like, let it go, honey. Like, it don't need to have gold all over the walls. Like, they not trying to have,
Period.
right, they not trying to have Trump's apartment in New York. They're
Oh
not
my
trying to do
God.
that. Anyway, um,
Anyway, so we fast forward again. We get to the movie premiere. It's Joe's movie. The movie's called My Stand-In. I was like, wow. It's literally a story
innovative,
of his life.
innovative.
I was hoping it's like the story of his life, or like they're watching this show and it's like all meta like that. And they're all
Probably.
happy and they're playing the theme song.
Right. I saw that and I was like, know what? Let's not do this.
I
And then
was
they
like, I see.
then after
Yeah.
the premiere, Joe and Ming get home. They're tired. I think
They're a little hungry.
they make food, and then they not only hungry but they're horny.
Oh, Joe was like, I'm hungry for one thing. And then you
Mm,
see them eating like the noodles again.
right.
But I was like, oh,
They eat the noodles and then they show each other
I
nudes.
can't.
You
I
know, I
can't.
mean,
That
Ming gets
scene,
to
I
show
was
his
like,
noodle.
I can't. Yeah, Ming is like finally like, oh, like don't worry, I'm never gonna do it from the back ever again. Like we're missionary all the way now. Missionary all
Yes,
the
and
way.
that's when the table's shaking, the soup
I
almost spilling
screamed
out
at the
of
table
there,
shaking.
and then it ends with the Ming, Ming,
Achoo!
Ming. Achoo!
Oh my god! I was like, not the Ming. We haven't had a moan and groan like that since they were doing it in the bathroom, episode like 3. Remember?
Right. Raw
Oh
dogging,
my
and then
god! I
they
was
raw
like,
dogging it
boom.
outside,
They really are.
and I'm
I was
like,
like, not in front of my salad.
right.
Not in
A
front of my
salad was
salad.
tossed. We know for sure. Okay.
Oh, there was tossing salad maybe outside.
Yeah.
There was tossing
Okay.
salad. I can't. Yeah, but I was screamed at like they're rolling the credits as he's like Ming. I was like, stop! Achoo! I can't.
So I guess our final thoughts. First of all, our predictions were way off.
We got nothing right, right?
We
Nothing
got
right.
nothing right.
I'm thinking like supernatural explosions gonna happen.
I
People are gonna get
I
revenge.
was
Like,
thinking some kind of unalivement was gonna happen.
yeah, I'm thinking Tom's gonna go jump off a cliff himself.
Right.
He needs to.
Yeah,
No.
we were thinking all this stuff. We thought Tarn might make a debut. We thought we might get a
Literally,
little
Tarn
bit
was in
more.
it for one episode. Come on.
One episode.
There's
And we were
more to that
thinking
story. I really we should look at the
yeah,
book and
I
see.
wanted a little bit more
what happened
background
there.
on what happened with Winter Joe, a little bit
Yeah.
more. But we didn't get that. But I mean, what did we think of this episode overall?
This episode, it was kind of closing a chapter. It was a little slow.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of wrapping up everything. They're trying
Mm-hmm.
to wrap it up all in a nice little bow. So it was okay.
That's the way I
Overall,
felt too.
love the show. This
Yeah.
show's a good 9.5 out of 10.
I would say this episode was, out of all of them, probably the worst one. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, because, I mean,
It's
compared
just- yeah,
to
it's
the
the last
rest of the
episode.
episodes being so good, like really good, with great build up and everything, this one was just kind of like, oh, okay, happy ending. And I like,
I mean, that's how all endings are. Sometimes they're lukewarm.
yeah,
'Cause it's really hard to have like a banger ending.
yeah, and I wish it was less happy, but here we are. Like I wish there was a little bit more tension. I
Not everything has to be such a like forgiveness.
yeah,
Yeah.
this was just like this was pretty much like a bed of daisies. Everything was just so
True.
easy. And I'm kind of like, what happened to some of this tension? But
Mm-hmm.
I also am glad that the story kind of wrapped up.
Yeah.
However, it
No-
gave
no
us
loose ends.
no loose ends.
Is it for
gives
the
us-
Tharn thing? The
Yeah.
Tarn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wish they would give us a little bit, well, it gives us a little bit to chew on for maybe a spinoff, either with Mike and Jim
Mike and
or
Jim,
with
or-
Sun and Yim. But I don't think we're going to get the Sun and Yim one. I don't think we're going to get that.
Yeah, that'll be a whole separate show of him being like an idol in Korea and
Right.
like you being a makeup artist.
Right.
I don't think we're getting that. But an assistant storyline with another billionaire son.
Yeah.
That's
We've
already
seen this
like
before.
that's like 50 BLs already.
Yeah, we've seen it many
That writes
times
itself.
before. So,
Yeah.
but I would see it again, especially if they make it no more than 6 episodes and there's a lot of good NC-17 scenes,
Not the NC-17.
Yes,
This
and,
show had some really good set scenes, right? It was very out there. I mean, it's not as
they
much
weren't
as-
bad, but
I mean,
we
if
didn't
we're
see no
comparing,
sweet cheeks
'cause-
booty meat. We didn't see that.
Oh my god. I mean, if we're comparing to like Kim Porce, right? Because we realized
Kim
that
Porch
the
had the
creators
better
of
sex scenes.
the creators of Kim Porce had a hand in this show too. That's why the opening sequence is like kind of the same.
Right.
It's the same, like I think the same directors.
But I think the sex scenes in Ken Porsche were
But
definitely.
Kim Porsche were a little wilder.
Yes, and we got to see a lot more Sweet Cheeks booty meat
Oh,
than we
yeah,
did in
we
this
saw
one.
everyone's cheeks, right? Did we see
For the
Oppo's
most
cheeks?
part,
We saw Oppo's cheeks. We saw
Bible's
Miles'
cheeks,
cheeks.
Oppo's
We
cheeks,
saw Vegas's cheeks.
Miles' cheeks.
Yeah, we saw Bible's cheeks. We saw Bill's cheeks.
Yeah, Bill's cheeks were kind of pancakey, but we saw them.
Oh my god.
So, but yeah, we
saw
didn't
everyone's
see any
cheeks.
cheeks here. Like
I could have sworn we saw cheeks here though.
No, we didn't, because every time they were, doing the
Doing the
bump
thing
and
we saw
grind,
from the front.
there
We didn't
was
see
like
from the back.
it was from a different angle. It was from the
True.
back, or there was a blanket. Like
Maybe
we didn't
up
see.
ain't down for that. Up is not down for that.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, maybe Up got a pancake booty and he know it, and he's like, I'm not going to show this to everybody.
Oh my god!
But I am very sure Poom has.
You're like,
a
Poom
nice
got that cake
booty. He is caked. I am sure he is caked.
Oh my
So
god!
I am sure of it. Anywho, you know what? Speaking of cake, we got to go because we got plans. Okay, so that is it for.
That is it for this
bonus
show,
episode.
this season.
Yes.
This season of a bonus episode.
Yes.
Hope y'all enjoyed this extra episode we did every week.
Yes. Be safe. And remember, don't be anybody stand-in, but be yourself. Unless the check is good.
Not the check, unless that check is good. Yes.
Yes.
Hope the Joe in your life stops your knee. Yeah. I was gonna say, hope the Joe in your life starfish. I don't know. That pink starfish with no, that's crazy.
Starfish.
Hope the Joe in
All
your
right.
life sneezes on your knee. All right.
Okay. Bye, y'all.
Bye bye.